The picture is so bad because it's dark. I've been mentioning multiple times that I was worried that potentially we could have a problem here if things didn't go well during the trip here in Sydney. Well, I woke up this morning. Usual time is that I wake up and went to get ready to go out for the morning walk, and it was completely pouring down and I didn't have a umbrella. So I bailed on that and couldn't get to the walk during the day. So here I am at 6 p.m. going for the first of my 2 workouts. So I'm gonna have to do 2 45-minute workouts in, I guess, 6 hours technically, but I'm not gonna be working out that late at night. I'll do this one now, then have dinner, and then do another one afterwards to get it done. Already challenged on day 2, if you will, here in Sydney. But I think I'm all sorted now. I've got an umbrella so I can go out for the morning walk at the time that I usually go. So we should be all good going forward. So this is a little bit more like the weather we want for a morning walk. Got up earlier today, looked outside. It didn't seem to be raining, so headed out for the morning walk. And hopefully today is going to be a little bit less stressful in terms of achieving the challenge goals, specifically the exercise ones. I think today's work day is going to be jam-packed. Always when you're in the office, everything gets packed in there as much as possible. So yeah, but so far trip to Sydney is going well. I wanted to stop here and talk a little bit about the A-Game Poker book that I've been reading for the last month and a bit, written by Elliot Rowe, and I found that there's a lot of value in there. In the third part of the book, it talks about actually going through some exercises, and so because I was focused on reading the book the first time through, I wasn't doing the exercises. And now I'm kind of going through just the part 3 again for a second time, and I'm specifically going to be going through the exercises that are in the book. So the first 2 exercises are, 1, to have a vision statement for poker or for your life, and the second one is to construct your schedule. So I think it's been quite easy for me to stick to the challenge so far because I've got this kind of good driving, motivating factor or vision that's in my head, but I'll be putting it down on paper very soon and I'll share that with you all. And then the second one, creating the schedule, I haven't done this yet. I've kind of roughly drawn it out for myself, like I go for my walks every day generally at the same time, and breakfast, lunch, dinner generally at the same time, fill out the work day, certain amount of sleep. But I think a big thing will be for when I'm actually in Vegas, having a good schedule for like the playing days. So I'm actually going to lay out the whole month with the poker tournaments and when they'll be actually on, when the dinner breaks, when the regular breaks are, when I'll be getting up for breakfast or when I'll be getting up in the morning. I think I'll be going to the gym in the mornings before going out to play, But yeah, we'll see what happens when I actually sit down and do the schedules out, because poker days can be quite long, 12-hour days where there isn't good time to, get things done in the morning and get home in time to get good sleep. So yeah, I'm going to lay them out. It's just going to be kind of like a plan. It's not going to be exactly what we have to stick to every day. Anyway, stay tuned for those things. That probably won't be this week because I'll be focusing on the Sydney stuff this week, but maybe next week I'll share the details of those things. Otherwise, turning around on my walk and heading back the other way. Good morning. We're in the typical Las Vegas weather here in Sydney. Raining this morning for the walk, so I'm not really training for the situations that we're going to have in Vegas, but getting the morning walk in, listening to a podcast with Thomas Boyven on the Mechanics of Poker podcast, learning a lot from it, learning some strategies for study and prioritization methods, I suppose you can call them. Things that I already knew, but very helpful in spelling it out a bit more thoroughly and directly. So we'll definitely put that into practice going forward. Other than that, just dodging puddles. I'll leave it there and I'll catch you all later. Quick update here on Thursday. One more day, or it's the morning, so today and tomorrow left in Sydney, and then I'm heading home. And everything's going fine so far, even though I haven't been able to as accurately track my calories. I've been roughly tracking them as to what I've been eating and trying to stick at least under my calorie goal for that, and have been able to do that. Last couple of days I've been able to get out for the walk in the morning, which is a lot easier than trying to do 2 walks in the afternoon or evening after work or after any of the activities that we have. So everything going fine so far. Tomorrow might be a bit difficult because I've got the flight home in the evening, and so I don't know when I'll be doing my evening walk. Maybe it'll be a 45-minute walk around the airport. We'll see when that comes. So I've managed to survive the trip to Sydney. I'm just in the airport waiting for my flight home. Gotten through all of my tasks during the week. I still have a little bit left to do today that I'll have to do when I get home. However, we've hit a little snag where the flight is delayed. I hope that it won't be delayed for the full day, otherwise I'll be drinking 2 litres of water here in the airport. But I guess that's just what will need to happen. So the week is, as I said, we've survived so far. We'll see what the results of the week is tomorrow morning, I suppose. But I've definitely done more walking than I usually would, even though I've done the 2 walks per day each day here. We've done a lot more walking because being in the office, or walk to the office, from the office, all through the office during the day. So a lot more active during the day, so should be all good. And even if we are set back a little bit, it shouldn't be really much of anything that we can't overcome in the next 5 weeks leading up to the trip. Anyway, I'll leave it there and catch up with you all tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to day 41 of the challenge. We are over the halfway mark and we have 39 days remaining until I leave for the USA to play the WSOP in Las Vegas. Got back from Sydney from a work trip last night, pretty late at 11 o'clock, as the flight was delayed for various reasons, and had to drink 2 liters of water in that 1 hour because I hadn't had the opportunity to get that sorted out between all the rest of the day and the travel, etc. But here we are now. Weighed in this morning and actually had an increase of both muscle and fat over the last week being away. So there is definitely the possibility that I didn't meet my calorie goals because I was a lot more active while being away. Just I wasn't doing my regular routine meals, which I know the calories of because I've set up the recipes and calculated them all out. So there is entirely the possibility that I failed the challenge during the week in Sydney. However, I'm going to continue on as if I didn't, because I still have, as I said, 39 days to make a big impact to my health and mental toughness in preparation for the WSOP. So just on the morning walk I'm going to today, my plan is to do quite a lot of poker study and also put together my remaining plan for the days and weeks left in the challenge. I have my schedule for my coaching sessions that will be happening over the next 5 weeks. So I'll be putting that in there and making sure I get my own study happening. I'll be setting up the priority list of the study items I want to tackle and getting right into it. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I'll catch you all later. Sunday morning, taking the dogs for a walk. You would have seen, I would have put it on the titles, the progress in terms of weight. So we are ahead of where we were last week, which is good. Shows that the Sydney trip didn't blow us out completely. I might, this afternoon, we'll see if I record it, but I might put together a little bit of a demo of how I'm using AI in learning and planning my poker journey. Yeah, maybe check that out now. Hey there. So this is going to be a quick kind of walkthrough of how I'm playing around with AI tools or large language models to help with my poker study and planning of my poker study. So I've got this is ChatGPT. I've got a project here open with, I've got basically no chats in this project. And what I want to do is talk to ChatGPT to get some additional information that I can use to input into another tool to help me figure out my plan. And maybe we can use ChatGPT as well to see what it says about the plan. One of the first things I wanted to note was prioritizing certain configurations of spots. So, for example, if you're under the gun, then your decision to raise or fold will happen as the first in player, will happen in every single hand that you are under the gun. You're first to act, so you need to decide with no one else currently in the hand, do you want to raise or do you want to fold this hand? So that will happen quite a lot. And then if you're the next player to act, your decision to raise or fold first in will happen less of the time, because the under the gun player will maybe raise some percentage of the time. Maybe it's like 20% of the time they'll raise, 80% of the time they'll fold. So your decision in the, let's say, under the gun 1 position, your decision on raising first in only happens 80% of the time, because the player before you will have raised or done something before then, and you'll be choosing to 3-bet them or call their raise or fold, or maybe they've limped. You're going to choose to isolate the limp or limp as well if you want to include that. So the percentage of times the kind of configuration happens should go into the prioritization of your study of that spot. For example, 5-bet pots happen much less often than raise first in spots. So you might want to prioritize raising first in study over 5-bet until you've done a certain amount of study there. So anyway, we can ask ChatGPT, what is the percentage of times that I will get to choose to raise first in or fold in a Texas Hold'em tournament format? And let's see what ChatGPT says. So it adds some additional definitions like raise first in or RFI. We're not RFIing if someone has already entered the pot, you're in the blinds, facing a raise or limp, you're in late position, but others have already opened. So there we go, as we said. Assuming full 9-handed table, we've got under the gun 100% of the time. You have to choose between raising first in and then under the gun 1, 87.5. And it gets less and less until we get to the button, because at least someone before you has made some move. And that's that. Now, I don't know if I really trust these percentages. So yeah, we might want to use actual like GTO ranges to determine the actual percentage of these things. Now we want to know, in addition to like what you're going to do raising first in or 3-betting, etc., we can continue to ask ChatGPT those further questions to get those percentages as well. But what we can also ask is, what stack sizes should we prioritize when studying? So what stack sizes should I prioritize when studying multi-table tournament poker? And we can say, assuming that the more hands played at a particular stack size makes them more important, as well as the ICM factors, considering certain times during a tournament, a stack size will have more impact on my ROI. Let's see if that's enough information for ChatGPT to give us an answer. You're thinking about this exactly right. Thanks, ChatGPT. Isn't ChatGPT so agreeable with me? Stack size, frequency, and impact on ROI via ICM pressure and decision complexity are both critical. Let's combine the empirical frequency data with strategic ROI significance. And we can see that 15 to 25 big blinds is our top priority, 25 to 40 is our high priority, 10 to 15 also high priority. Then we've got 40 to 60 as medium priority, less than 10 as medium low, and then the bigger stack sizes actually become lower priority, because You have those big stack sizes generally only at the start of tournaments. As the blinds increase, your stack size lowers, and you may or may not maintain that large stack size. Now, if you're studying for the main event, for example, you might want to continue to study the higher stack sizes, because that tournament you're playing for a lot longer at the higher stack sizes. Frequency-based stack distribution. Okay, so now we can see the approximate amount of hands that are played at 5 to 10 blinds, 10%, 10 to 15, 12%, 15 to 20, 20%. And so this is the data that's going into the above priority list. Now we talk about the ROI. 15 to 25 has the highest ICM leverage. Simple strategy, mostly Nash charts for the 10 big blinds or less. 40 big blinds, we've got lower ICM pressure, but the depth increases mistakes. So here is the suggested study sequence. Would you like to map these to GCO Wizard's preset ranges, or create a weekly study plan that focuses on these stack sizes? Okay, so I think we've got enough information from ChatGPT in terms of what it knows. The next thing we want to do is try and pull more information from some targeted resources. So what I wanted to show you now is a tool called Notebook LM. It's by Google, so potentially you can access it by going to notebooklm.google.com, I think. I have a Google Workspace subscription, so I have access to it. And what we can do is we can create a new notebook. I have no notebooks here because I deleted the ones that I had existing. And what we can do is we can upload sources. So we can upload sources from Google Drive, like Google Docs or Google Slides that you may already have, links to websites or YouTube videos, or just plain text. What I'm going to do before we do that, we're going to give the notebook a name. So we're going to say poker, how to study poker. Because what we're going to do when we add our sources, we're actually going to go to YouTube, and we're going to effectively just copy all of these URLs and add them as sources, as YouTube sources, to our Notebook LM book, or notebook, I guess it's called. So I'm just going to go back and forth here and add quite a few of these videos. And what Notebook LM will do is it will extract the transcript of the video, and then it will kind of reference that data when providing you information when you ask it questions. So let's copy that, and maybe we'll add, say, like 3 or 4 more just for the purposes of the video. I think we just did study made simple, so we'll go down to here as well, share, copy. I filtered for videos between 4 and 20 minutes. However, you might want to also filter for videos above 20 minutes just to get some of those longer podcast style videos in here. Okay, and then we'll also go and we'll grab the transcript that we have from ChatGPT. Not sure if it's in there. Okay, is this just going to copy this message, or will it copy the whole thing? Let's just click that and see what we get. So we can go to Notebook LM. We can add a source that is copied text. Okay, we do have the full list here. Okay, and I think I want to get rid of that bottom part because there's no need to have that in there. Okay, we'll insert that as a source. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sources, 6 videos, and 1 block of pasted text. And now we can ask our notebook, which is going to drive its answers from the sources that we've got selected on the left-hand side. One other thing we can do is click Discover, and we can say how to study poker. Now this will do a search to various sources that Notebook LM knows about. And there we go. We see some links to some other websites about how to study poker. We could, click import. It will bring them all in. We have a limit of 50 sources, so you have to kind of maybe get a little bit choosy. Anyway, let's ask, what would you suggest to prioritize when studying poker? ? And let's see what it says out of the 7 sources that we've got listed. And here we go. It's given us an answer. So focus on the most common and high impact spots. So that aligns with the theory that we had before. Prioritize studying situations involving the button and the blinds as you play most hands from these positions. Makes sense. For multi-table tournaments, prioritize studying stack sizes. This is coming from, we can see these little tags that tells us the reference that it's referencing to in the source. So that makes sense. 15 to 25 and 25 to 40 and 10 to 15 is kind of like our secondary. Understanding over memorizing, that's a big one there. Building structure and answering questions. Build a conceptual map of the game based on your current skill level. So there we go. It has given us kind of like a prioritized list of how we might study poker. So now we can ask it, can you build a study plan for me? I will be studying for the next 6 weeks. So we have about 6 weeks of time up until the WSOP. Can you build this so that I am prepared for the MTTs at the WSOP this year? Okay, so I can certainly help build a 6-week study plan for you to prepare for the WSOP MTTs. So let's come down here. Core weekly study structure. We're going to repeat it for 6 weeks. On Monday, study the week's chosen strategy or skill. Tuesday, restudy the item from Monday. Wednesday, rest day or just play and practice. Thursday, review hands from your poker database. Friday, practice the strategy in game. Saturday, restudy the week's topic. Okay, and now let's see if it gives us, there we go. So week 1, 15 to 25 big blinds, stealing and re-streaming basics. I don't know what a re-stream is. I feel like maybe that's re-stealing, stealing and re-stealing. Learn raise first in ranges from different positions at this depth, reshove ranges and 3-bet fold strategies. Prioritize situations involving the button and blinds. So what we could maybe do is we could ask either ChatGPT or we could ask our Notebook LM to maybe get a little bit more specific on this each week. Maybe we don't want it to do it for the whole 6 weeks because we may decide to change what we're studying. Also, for me, I won't be like practicing, if you will. So I might need to tell the AI that these are the activities that I have available to work on. So maybe instead of playing, I can put like using GTO Wizards Trainer as an example. So then we've got week 2, post-flop play and ICM, week 3, shoving ranges, week 4, ICM variants, different stack sizes. Then week 5, pre-flop strategy for 25 to 40 big blinds. Week 6, 25 to 40 big blinds post-flop strategy. And then it's given some focus things to consider when executing the plan. Okay, so that is basically the plan that the AI has come up for me. Now, I will actually go and include many more sources. I think the more sources you have, the more that it can converge on the optimal that is kind of referenced across most of them. Additionally, what I could do is have separate notebooks that are focusing on each of the week's items. So maybe I go, okay, let's find a lot of sources that are referring to 15 to 25 big blinds and the opening ranges, the reshove, 3-bet, etc., and then ask it to build me the specific weekly plan for that week as a separate notebook, so I can have a notebook that's a general study plan overall, and then a focused notebook for the individual item. Now let's go and just see if we grab this question. Let's see what ChatGPT is going to generate for us without the context of the videos that we input directly. So one thing that ChatGPT won't give us is the references to the specific sources that we've added. Okay, so we do have very similar structure. Yeah, and so we can kind of take the output of both of these things and build up our own actual plan at the end of the day. So there you go, and it gives you the details as well for the specific weeks. Tools you might use as well, that's kind of cool. One other thing that I'll note, and I'm not sure if it will come across well on video here, so is Notebook LM can generate this audio overview, which is kind of like a podcast. And if I click generate here, it will take a little while to generate this kind of artificial intelligence podcast of 2 hosts discussing the topics that are referenced in the sources. And this could be a good thing if you wanted to build up your own little kind of summary podcast of all of the sources that you find when you build your own notebook. So we'll wait for this to generate, and then maybe we'll see if we can have a listen to it. I'm not sure how well it will come across on the video. Hopefully it comes across well enough, and then we can both listen to maybe the first minute or 2 of the generated podcast. How to study poker audio overview has been generated, and it goes for 20 minutes. We're not going to use interactive mode for the moment, but I'm going to hit play, and then we'll see. Hopefully this comes through well enough for you all to hear this.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really zeroing in on something pretty crucial for anyone serious about improving their poker game.
Yeah.
How to study smarter, not just harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Because let's be honest, starting out with poker study, it can feel like, just being completely overwhelmed.
Totally. You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, I've got limited time. There's so much information.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I even start? How do I avoid just drowning in it all?
That feeling is super common. I mean, there's just a mountain of strategy content out there, and figuring out what actually moves the needle for your game, that's the real challenge.
Exactly. So look, our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We want to cut through that noise. We've gone through a ton of stuff, YouTube videos from coaches, players, strategy articles,
Mm-hmm.
to pull out the really actionable advice. We're talking practical tips you can use to study more effectively and actually see better results at the table.
Right. So where do we start? I think the first big one is deciding where to even focus your study time.
Yeah, that's key. What's the biggest bang for your buck?
Well, what keeps coming up from the experts is this idea. You've got to prioritize studying the spots you actually face most often.
Sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But it makes sense.
It really does, because those are the situations where small repeated mistakes add up, or where understanding the right play gives you the biggest edge over time. You're bleeding equity or missing value constantly in those frequent spots.
Right. Like think about how often you're playing from the button or defending your blinds. It's constant.
Exactly. So, dedicating study time to really nail down button versus blinds play, as someone like Sala Costa from GTO Wizard points out, that's where you'll likely see the biggest return on your study investment. You got to master those key battlegrounds first.
So there you go. That was the first minute and 45 seconds of the How to Study Poker audio overview generated from the 6 videos and the pasted text that I put in from ChatGPT. Okay, so that's the overview of the AI tools that I'm using to help me plan my study for the WSOP this year. This will probably be the end of the video, so if you've been watching this far, thank you. Thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. If you're enjoying the videos, remember to give it a like and to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again, and see you next time.